Right now at noon, in a race to help over 1,500 soon-to-be employed workers, local businesses are stepping up to support those affected by Tyson's closure.
And we've got dangerous heat across the area again. It's an alert day with heat advisories. Heat index values could be as high as 110. Plus, we've got thunderstorm chances. We'll look at all of that coming up.
Plus, those struggling with housing are offered new resources to help them get a roof over their head.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good afternoon, 4 states, and thank you for joining us on KOAM News at Noon. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. In today's top story, authorities confirm one of the 4 girls injured in a lightning strike at an Oklahoma swimming spot has died. The girls were swimming at Blue Hole Park in Mayes County Saturday when lightning struck. The Grand River Dam Authority says 1 girl has now died of her injuries. 3 other girls have been released from the hospital. Authorities have not given names or ages. And a Granby, Missouri man is dead from an early morning crash. At about 3 yesterday morning, a vehicle crossed the railroad tracks on Wallaby Road, 3 miles west of Pierce City. The driver lost control of the vehicle and traveled off the right side of the road and down an embankment where it overturned. All 4 of the passengers suffered serious injuries. The driver, 21-year-old Trenton Wilson of Granby, died at the scene. And a late-night attempted traffic stop turns into a pursuit in Aurora, Missouri. Police there tried a traffic stop near Baldwin Park, but the driver failed to pull over. Officers chased the vehicle down several streets. Lawrence County Sheriff's Office joined the chase, and authorities were finally able to safely stop the vehicle. Authorities arrested the driver, Justin Brown of Aurora, on suspicion of multiple charges, including driving while intoxicated. Brown and Ab Conster from the Missouri Department of Corrections also had warrants for his arrest to be returned to their custody. And authorities respond to reports of a stabbing incident in Galena. Authorities say this woman, Miranda Porter, is being held for aggravated battery and interference with a law enforcement officer. It happened yesterday morning around 10:30. Galena police were notified of a male subject with a stab wound in the area of 23rd and Main Street. When they arrived, they located a male with a stab wound to the abdomen. He was taken by EMS to a local hospital. Police found Porter in the home where the stabbing apparently occurred. And the Homeless Coalition of Jasper and Newton counties hosted a networking event for anyone struggling with homelessness. Twice a year, the coalition hosts Project Homeless Connection with multiple area vendors and services. Those services included legal aid, employment programs, veteran benefits, and more. Members of the community who are struggling with housing say this networking event connects them to friendly and understanding resources.
Society's not very friendly to people that are less fortunate, and that's probably one of the biggest obstacles that are out here. Thank God for organizations like House Inc. and
the next Project Homeless Connection is planned for January. And now let's take it over to Chris Warner with a look at this weekend's forecast.
Yeah, we've got, unfortunately, a very hot start across the 4 states. Our air temperatures right now aren't the problem. It's all the humidity, the high humidity, high dew point, leading to very high heat index values, upwards of about 10 degrees warmer than what the air temperature is. And that's why we have these heat advisories for all the counties in orange. And then we do have excessive heat warnings still in effect for Washington, Newada, and Craig counties in northeast Oklahoma. All of these run until 8 p.m. tonight. In the heat advisories, heat index values could be upwards of 110 degrees, and in the excessive heat warnings, those heat index values could go as high as 115. Skywatch Storm Tracker, because as I mentioned, we have strong severe thunderstorm chances as we head through the overnight. Right now in our immediate area, there isn't much out there, but we head straight out to the west. This complex of just kind of random showers and storms out to the west of Wichita could have an impact on what we see in terms of those pop-up storms. This morning, we were talking about them being along and north of Highway 54. Well, believe it or not, even as far away as that little bunch of showers is, could have an impact on those pop-up storms and shift them further south into southern southeast Kansas and parts of northern Oklahoma. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Then overnight, a very low tornado risk, but we still have the low to elevated hail risk across the area and the low to elevated wind risk for some strong severe storms overnight tonight. Quick look, yesterday started the day at 67, made it up to 90, so about where we should be for this time of year. And as I mentioned, temperatures right now, not bad. It's the heat index values, which we'll get to. 90, Iola, Chinook, Pittsburgh, Joplin, Lamar, Carthage, Nevada, 90, Miami, 89, Chitopa, and 90 91 in Neosho. We'll have another full look at your forecast and what those thunderstorm chances look like here in a few more minutes.
Local and regional businesses are trying to find ways to support the McDonald County residents who will lose their jobs when the Tyson plant closes in Knoll. It's a race to help about 1,500 soon-to-be unemployed workers and their families. Common Cup, a coffee shop located only 5 minutes from the Tyson plant, will offer resume and job application help on Saturdays starting this weekend. They'll have computers and translators available for those who need them, as part of the Tyson workforce doesn't speak English as their first language.
We're just going to be here to help as many people to transition to whatever's next for them as we can. And it's going to be free. We're going to have just black coffee for everyone to drink who's here, and free coffee for anyone who wants to volunteer.
Put it into perspective for people outside of McDonald County, this is about 25% of their workforce within the county. I mean, it's a lot of jobs are being lost.
Access Family Care will also offer support to Tyson's current employees. Their application counselors will help those affected transition to marketplace insurance or Medicaid if needed. And the hits just keep on coming for Missouri employees as another local business closes its doors. The world's largest pork processor, Smithfield Foods, is closing a total of 35 hog farms in 3 Missouri communities. The company is closing 13 farms in Newton, 12 in Lucerne, and 10 in Princeton. Another 92 employees will be laid off in October. The Kansas Department of Agriculture gave Southeast Kansas residents a chance to learn about plans for a new flood insurance rate map. They hosted a meeting at the Erie Public Library where local flood experts could discuss how the new map would impact personal property. An updated map could determine whether someone should get flood insurance and how much it would cost.
A mortgage on your structure is within that floodplain boundary, then you're required to purchase flood insurance. These maps, though, they won't be effective until we're estimating early 2025. So there is still time, and that's why we're here today, is to allow the community and the public to make comments to make sure that we're getting accurate portrayal of that flood risk.
Planes were flown over the area to remap the land for more accurate representation of the flood area. And that's a look at today's top stories and weather in the 4 states region. Up next on KOAM News at Noon. Opening ceremonies kick off the 2023 Missouri State Fair with hundreds of thousands expected to attend. And later, we're making 4-cheese smoked mac and cheese in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Stay tuned. The Missouri State Fair is now underway in Sedalia. This year's fair features 10 days of live music, rides, demonstrations, and competitions. Mark Slavitt takes us to this year's opening ceremonies.
Governor Parson and University of Missouri President Moon Choi led a group of dignitaries at this year's Missouri State Fair opening ceremonies. Parson told the crowd Missouri agriculture remains strong despite this year's drought, high feed costs, and high fuel costs. The State Fair is a showcase for Missouri agriculture, which employs about 470,000 people and generates about $97 billion in economic activity each year.
It's always fun to come to the State Fair. People are always in a good mood, having fun, and just a lot of great activities here, along with learning about agriculture.
President Choi proudly told the crowd opening day is Mizzou Day. The new event makes the University of Missouri the fair's grand champion sponsor.
Well, I'm very excited that we can highlight our support for agriculture, extension, and really improving the lives of Missourians. We're so happy to be here.
This year's theme is Where Traditions Grow. Fair Director Mark Wolf and his staff are gathering fairgoers' favorite traditions, from small traditions, such as visiting the petting zoo, to bigger traditions, like attending the fair every day with your family and friends.
We've got all kinds of new free entertainment. We've got some great, actually, free entertainment this year that we haven't had here in about 15 years, and they are fantastic. So I encourage folks to come out, see what's going on with that.
Sedalia's Lynn Alexander has attended opening day for the past 31 years and is passing that tradition on to her family members, including her son, Lincoln.
What's your favorite part of the fair? That's what he's asking. Look, what's your favorite part of the fair?
A cow.
The cows?
Yes.
Opening day is also Mizzou Day with a gate admission of $7 for those 13 years and older. The 10-day state fair runs through August 20th. Still to come on KOAM News at Noon, we see what's cooking with Mr. Food.
Are you ready for a creamy mac and cheese that's smoking good? If you are, today's your lucky day.
But first, we've got an alert day today for the dangerous heat, and we're tracking thunderstorm chances. Well, the latest in your forecast coming up. Welcome back to the KOAM News at Noon. So we got a very active day here in the KOAM Skywatch Weather Center. It's not particularly active right this moment, but we do have heat to tell you about. So we're going to recap real quick. The heat advisories you can see for all the counties in orange and the excessive heat warnings in northeast Oklahoma. All of these run through 8, and that is for heat index values up to 110 to 115 degrees. Then we have the possibility of some strong to severe thunderstorms. We're actually starting to get cloud cover off of thunderstorm activity off to our west, which we'll talk about in a moment. First, we're heading off to our northwest. We are watching these thunderstorms, and these are expected to continue to develop, grow upscale. In fact, if we take this up into southeastern Nebraska, we've got one severe thunderstorm warning right here, and these are going to continue to grow, and they're expecting to possibly issue a watch for parts of northeast Kansas, northwest Missouri here in the next 2 or 3 hours. Then there's this activity out to our west, and this activity is influencing our atmosphere here. One, it's kicking out some unexpected cloud cover because this activity has not died out. It's been trying, but it's not done so, and it could impact our pop-up storm chances as we go later into the evening. And instead of that threat for pop-up storms being along and north of 54 as was anticipated, they may be a little further south along the Kansas-Oklahoma border. Let's take a look at what we've got overnight as well. Our tornado risk is very low. We do not have any areas highlighted. However, we have a low to elevated hail risk across the area and the low to elevated wind risk as well for some large hail damaging wind gusts with thunderstorm chances overnight. Now, you notice the elevated risk was across our northern counties. That's the possible expectation from storms that are going to develop up in northeastern and north central Kansas as we go through the afternoon. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. They still won't be here until overnight because you take a look at the future track, not showing much until we get into the overnight hours. Now, this could be off of the outflow from the dying activity out west of Wichita. Here we are at 1 a.m. Some of this could be strong with some small hail and gusty winds. This is what is expected out of northeastern Kansas by 3 a.m. tomorrow and starting to clip some of our northern counties. We'll go to sunrise and we'll still see a few scattered showers across the area up until about the noon hour. Then we start to kind of wind down a bit, and as we head into Saturday evening, another round of showers and thunderstorms moves in, more specifically early Sunday morning, and some of these storms could be strong, possibly severe, with large hail and damaging wind gusts. And take a look at this. Here we are at 6:30 in the morning. You can see how they just really blossom, and then they're actually going to kick on through scattered showers for the first half of our Sunday. Then we clear out again, and by Sunday night, look at this, another line of showers and thunderstorms, and some of these could be strong to severe. And then after that, we're left with just thunderstorms, no severe weather expected, but that could be continuing into our morning commute on Monday. So some much needed rain chances out there. We just don't need this severe weather, which unfortunately we are going to have to contend with. We got scattered storms for Saturday, and then we go back to that elevated risk as we head into Sunday. I want to talk temperatures real quick. They're going to yell at me because I'm almost out of time here, but quick look outside. Sunny, it's hot. From the MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline, our camera at the KOAM studios here at Crestline, and from the KDOT camera. And I want to quickly get through the temperatures. So 90 degrees in Joplin. This is what we're talking about. Feels like 98. Feels 8 degrees hotter. We go up into Pittsburgh, 90. Feels like 99. And we take a look at temperatures real quick around the area. And look, we've got 89 Fort Scott. That's hot, but it's not bad, right? 90s in a lot of locations. But then you factor in this dew point and humidity, and look at this. Feels like 100 in Fort Scott, 101 in Nevada, 100 in Neosho. So this is why we have those heat advisories and excessive heat warnings. Now, we're still going to make the mid-90s, so it's going to get pretty toasty out there. Still mid to upper 90s possible tomorrow. Mid-90s Sunday. We cool back Monday and Tuesday, and then as we head into the second half of next week, temperatures return upper 90s near 100, and then we have a couple of pop-up storm chances Friday and Saturday. So we got to deal with all that heat today and into the end of next week, and we got to watch these thunderstorm chances over the next couple of days as well. So a lot going on.
Oh man, Chris, that sounds unpleasant.
Unpleasant to say the least. I haven't been outside yet, and looking at those current conditions, I don't know I want to go outside.
I was outside for 5 minutes. All the curls just dropped. Not the best hair weather. All right, well, stick around. We're making 4 cheese smoked mac and cheese in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. And it's time now to check in with Howard and the Mr. Food Kitchen staff. If you've never made macaroni and cheese in a smoker, you're in for a real treat. The smoker adds a hearty summer flavor to this mac and cheese recipe to make it a whole new flavor experience. Take a look.
The other day, I went to this little barbecue joint and got a side of mac and cheese to go with my pulled pork. I know, that alone sounds amazing. But what made it really great was the fact that the mac and cheese was smoked right alongside the pork. Since we all don't have smokers, we came up with a version that's, well, you'll have to try it to appreciate how smoky good it is. We start by cooking some macaroni according to the package directions and draining it really well. While this drains, we add some flour to melted butter and let that cook until it's golden. Then we slowly stir in some milk. Once it starts to thicken up, we take it off the heat and stir in some cream cheese along with a bit of salt and pepper. Next, we pour this over our pasta that we mix with some shredded cheddar, smoked Gouda, and a good amount of Parmesan cheese. Now, if you have a smoker, spoon this into a foil pan and in it goes. Otherwise, you can bake it in a 9x13 pan right in your oven. Either way, right before serving it, add a little more cheese on top. Creamy? Yes. Smoky? You bet. Thanks to the Gouda and the smoker. To get the recipe for our 4-cheese smoked macaroni and cheese, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a smoking good way for you to say, ooh, it's so good. Good?
To find this recipe along with many others, just head over to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com and click on Mr. Food. Now, here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
All right, so we have that alert day today for that dangerous heat. Heat index values up to 110. Then we'll watch the possibility for strong, possibly severe thunderstorms overnight tonight, and then again overnight Saturday into Sunday morning, and then some strong storms possible Sunday night into Monday. So some great much needed rain chances, just really hot. And then we'll cool down Monday and Tuesday, and then the heat returns Wednesday and Thursday.
Well, it looks like summer is not going down without a fight.
Not at all.
We're still in it. Well, coming up tonight at 5, for years, reaching 10,000 steps a day has been the goal for many trying to stay fit and healthy. But now, a new study finds walking less than that each day may be enough. Plus, the National Retail Federation says parents are expected to spend a record amount on back-to-school items this year. One reason for the increase is shoppers plan to buy big-ticket items like computers and phones. And Carl Junction school cybersecurity expert gives tips keep students safe when using technology. Join us for those stories and more right here at 5 o'clock.
And thank you so much for joining us for the KOAM News at Noon.
Have a safe and wonderful weekend, 4 States.